just getting a quick workout in at the gym. I'm usually only good for about 30 minutes of weightlifting, but I guess 30 minutes is a lot better than nothing. I just get bored after that long. So I was debating going back to the Golden Nugget for another 1-2 session. I was debating between the Golden Nugget and what is basically the furthest casino from where I live, which would be Red Rock Casino. It probably would have made more sense to go to the Golden Nugget. It's close, it's uncapped, but you know what they say, variety is the spice of life. Switch it up. Plus it'll give me an excuse to do not one but two things. One, get some fresh air. Two, well, you'll see. You know, if you're gonna live in the desert, I think you just need to, every once in a while, take the time and appreciate its nothingness. Just a quick FYI, this is like the third or fourth time I've ever flown this thing. It's always a little iffy whether it's actually gonna come back, so good luck to us. Man, these things are fun. All right, let's go to work. Alright, so we just got on the list for the 1-2 no limit at the old Red Rock Casino here. I actually used to live pretty close to here, so spent a decent number of hours in this room on the grind. Actually, alright, so I ended up getting a seat like right away in this 1-2 game, which is like right over here. Should be pretty straightforward. Most of these games are populated by locals that live on this side of town, out in Summerlin or the west side in general. Not too many tourists in these games usually. So, see how it goes.
Ronnie, you want to
Almost made it.
Right, 16. Doesn't want to go. 16. Hey, 2 at it. Yep. Check. Check. 20. Check. Yeah, they got the 9. Wow. Thank you.
We're still on jacks?
Are we at 2?
Yeah, we're at 2.
Dose.
Three players.
Thank you.
Heads up.
So this is a pretty interesting spot. Pre-flop, super marginal. Basically my approach to these 1-2 games is with these kinds of hands. Get in there cheap and try and connect with the board, and then pile money in and punish people who don't like to fold. Otherwise get away on the flop for cheap. On the flop, versus this player, I'd seen him lead with weak hands a couple times already. So the flop I think could go either way. I think it's worth the call having the history that I did with this guy just over the past couple hours of watching him play. Once the turn comes and he leads for the same amount that he led on the flop, I'm pretty sure I have the best hand here, so I think a raise is pretty standard. When he called the raise so quickly, it definitely felt like he was more likely to have a draw than he was to have like a 2-pair type hand or a straight. And when the river comes and he leads again, it's really questionable like what types of hands he could have here and be betting for value. If he had a 4, it seemed like he would have had to put more thought into calling my raise. There's so few 2-pair combos left on the turn with us having 6s and 5s. He could have 9-4, but again, he called so quickly on the turn where he didn't even consider putting in another raise or whether or not he was beat or any of that sort of thing. It just felt like there's so many missed draws here that he could have between flush draws and straight draws. It felt like there's so many combinations of hands that he could have here and could be bluffing with on the river. He could have some random forehand, he could have 9-4. That's definitely a possibility, but a lot of times he's just gonna have busted draws. So I called.
I got you. What up? You got 5s and 6s over there.
Wrapping up the session here at the Red Rock. Not a ton of action in today's game by any stretch. It's not like the game's on the strip. It's definitely a nice property. I think this was like the most expensive casino per square foot built at the time it was built, whatever year that was. Little factoid there for you. But yeah, so I guess there's good news, bad news, and good news. Good news is we booked a win. Bad news is $79. I guess that's not terrible news for a 1-2 game. Just not going to be getting rich off that money anytime soon. Good news is that means we can step it up again. Back to the 1-3 life for next session.